like the start of a race. Diet Pepsi's my fuel in this Monday maze. Shake the weekend fog off my tired face. The hustling begins, no time to waste. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show. And sun clouds up higher, chasing dreams like chasing fire. Got my rhythm set to overdrive. This Monday motivation vibe's keeping me alive. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show. Street lights fading, sun climbs up higher, chasing dreams like chasing fire. Got my rhythm set to overdrive. This Monday motivation vibe's keeping me alive. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I feel the glow. It's my time now, I own the show. Know that we can be heavy, but I'm tougher still. Climbing the mountain, fueled by will. Each heartbeat whispers, yes you can. I'm golden, helping every woman and man. Hey Monday, motivation, bring it on. Let's do this thing. The crowd won't stop, the fire will show. Step by step, I feel the glow. It's my time now, let's start the show.
Hey guys, what's up? It is Monday and we are back to Monday Motivation. If you don't know who I am Pamela, aka Scooterrenee. I'm your host of tonight's Monday Motivation, as I am for all Monday Motivation. So welcome in everybody. I also do auctions on my channels, generally Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and any other time I can find. As well as being on other people's channels. So speaking of which, if you are blue and you have a wrench in my channel, if you see somebody that you're not subscribed to, go ahead and click on those three dots out to the side of their name, go to their channel and just hit that subscribe button. It takes you probably maybe less than 5 seconds to do that. So that way you don't miss out on anybody that's possibly a reseller or does certain content on their channel as well. So I would appreciate that if y'all just support each other. Feel free to drop links if you want to drop your link as well. Make sure you do the YouTube things. You subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you click on that bell for all notifications and a thumbs up for tonight. I would greatly appreciate that as well. So all my new people, if you are brand new to my channel, welcome in. I hope that you will keep coming back to my channel. We do Monday Motivation every Mondays at 8 p.m. Central, unless I am sick, which is what has been happening. I think I skipped last Monday. We were here the Monday before that, and then I skipped the Monday before that. So just dealing with some colds and stuff, and hopefully that is out the door. We are done. So if you are new, keep on coming back. We are in the series of Forgiving What You Can't Forget, and we will probably be here for a few more weeks, and then we'll be moving on to a different topic and everything. So all my OGs, I see you in chat. Welcome back. We are almost to a new year, guys. So I hope you all had a great Christmas. And then, of course, the playback crew. Cannot forget my playback crew. If you are the playback crew, if you will leave me a comment, let me know that you're the playback crew. And then if you want to participate in the chat participation questions that we do tonight, feel free to leave the answer to those questions below. And I will still put you in our monthly drawing that is once a month, first part of each month. I've been slacking on the hashtags, on the shorts. I've been working from home, and I just have a harder time doing my shorts when I'm working from home, it seems. So we'll get back to that after the first of the year for sure. We're still going to do the hashtag drawing for the shorts next Monday. And if you're new to that, all you got to do is watch my shorts, and you have the whole month or whatever month we're in until midnight of the last day of the month. And just comment with the hashtag and you get entered to the monthly drawing. We do those, that one and the chat participation drawing of Monday Motivation. We do those first Monday of every month. So yeah, make sure you do all those things. Let's see who all is in chat. My video feels like it's buffering a little, and so it keeps catching my attention. So I'm kind of, if you see me distracted, that's what it is, kind of like a squirrel for me. First person in, speaking of squirrels, we got Kathy here. Hey, Kathy, welcome in. So good to see you. We got Selena here. Hey, Feather Sister. We got Joanne here. Hey, Joanne, welcome in. Also, talk about short timing. We just got done with Dream Chaser Tammy on her channel with her auction, and I decided I'm moving my light because I'm so sick of seeing the ring light in my glasses. Yeah, very last minute. So we're going to see how this goes, how I like this lighting. So far, I really like it. So might tweak it just a little bit more. We got Nancy here. Hey, Nancy, welcome in. Good to see you. That's right. Happy New Year to everybody. Joanne, hello. Did I already say hello, Joanne? Yes, I did, because you said twin. It's either Joanne or Lisa D that I do that to every time. Hey, Karen, there's my favorite brown sugar. Hello, hello. Welcome in. There's Tammy, Hometown Country Marketplace. Welcome in. Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Josie, hey, Josie, welcome in. Good to see you. All right, I think I got everybody. I think we're caught up. So people will come in as they get the notification. As well as there's other great things going on the YouTube. So people will be bouncing in and out and whatever. So feel free, if you need to do something, go ahead and do it. But, if you don't, I appreciate you spending time with me tonight. So again, hope you guys all had a safe and relaxing Christmas week. Thank you guys for your patience and understanding and your get well wishes while I was sick. Robert and I have both been sick. I was sick first, the first week of December, like December 5th. And then I was getting better. Robert ended up getting sick, but he ended up having a fever, which I did not have. And then that was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then that following Friday, I got fever and mine went higher than his. I actually got up to like 102.7.9. He kind of stayed down in the low 101s. So we were just, I guess, kind of passing it back and forth. So bless his heart, he still has a cough, but he's better besides that. So, life as it will happen. I got sick with the cold and sinus, and I still try to do things. I was still going live on my channel. And then life said, well, now we're going to just totally knock you out completely. So that's what happened last week. Totally knocked me down and was like, you're sitting down for a week. And I did. So trying to get back with it this week. And it feels so good to be back with you guys, because not only are we back after taking a week off, it is the Monday before New Year's. So happy early New Year to you guys. Y'all know it's my favorite time of the year. And then don't forget, we will be doing our word of the year either next Monday. I might do it in 2 weeks, because next Monday I feel is all of a sudden, and it gives you more time to come up with your word of the year. But we do our word of the year every year, beginning of the year. So just be watching in the thumbnails or in the description. I will let you know if we're going to do it next Monday or the following Monday. After that one, I haven't got my January quite squared up yet, how I want it and everything. So just be, again, watching the thumbnails and everything. Those thumbnails probably won't get posted. If I'm really honest with you guys, I probably will not get January thumbnails posted until next Monday. Again, when I'm at the office, I'm more structured. I have a system. and everything. And when I'm working from home, I'm like just lost. So if I'm honest with you guys, it will probably be Monday before I get all the thumbnails posted up for January. But I might surprise myself. I've been surprising myself quite a bit being off and everything. I got my warehouse all cleaned up, organized. I got one more thing I want to do in there to organize myself more, and that's the jewelry. And then I cleaned my whole office area up in here. So now my shipping table's all nice and cleaned off and everything. I got the new shelf. Like, I've been going at it. So now I've got to sit down this week and start looking at what I want for my numbers for next year and get all that planned this week or next week, along with the word of the year. And so all that's coming, guys. Y'all know we do that every year. So, but the biggest reason also, besides getting to be with you guys in the new year and all that stuff, it is episode 150 tonight. Can you guys believe that we have done this for 150 episodes? That means I've covered 150 new topics, which is quite a bit, guys. If you really look back at all the different topics we've had and everything, I've done over 150 hours and some odd minutes I've spent with you guys also as well. That also means, well, let's do a quick video and then you'll see what it really does mean. So there you go. I was actually able, I told Selena earlier, I didn't think I was going to be able to get a video done, but I did that also within the 15 minutes I had after we got done with Tammy. So, hey, Lisa D, welcome in. Thank you, guys. I'm pretty stoked. I mean, we just celebrated 100. It seemed like not too long ago. I'm pretty stoked about 150, but 200 will do even a bigger celebration. So, but guys, honestly, I would not have made it this far without each and every one of you, each week in, week out. Most of you, for the biggest part, have all been here since I even started Monday Motivation. Or you've been brand new and you're still coming back each week for more and everything. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for always being here, showing your support and everything. You each have a very special place in my heart for your continued support. Whether you have been watching Monday Motivations, watching the auctions, the super chats, or you're purchasing at the auctions, you just being here is earn you a very special place in my heart. So thank you for being who you are and for always showing up for me, guys. So, all right, guys, let's move on to, while you're really here, our series of Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Tonight, we are discussing collecting dots. And I'm going to explain to you what that means in just a moment. But first, our statement to hold on to. Y'all know we're doing something different. Instead of positive spot thought, it's the statement to hold on to. And tonight's statement is, we can't change what we have experienced, but we can choose how the experiences changed us. So I thought that was rather important. Sorry, something got on my hand. We can't change what we have experienced, but we can choose how the experiences changed us. You do have a choice. You can be a victim, or you can grow from it and continue to grow and get much stronger and learn from it and become even a better person than you already are today. So that's right. Selena says, you became my feather because of Monday motivation. Not Moravian, whatever that word is. I think Moravian means motivation and Selena needs, right? So, but this is such a good one for as a time like this. Tonight's topic and the next two in this series is going to focus on the past because and the future, but tonight's definitely on the past because it's essential for moving forward. This process can often feel messy and challenging when we are having to go back in our past to figure out how we got to here. And it's easy to want to rush through it. However, it's important to remember that quick fixes won't lead to lasting change. They only disrupt the genuine transformation from brokenness to beauty. Restoration in of itself is also both messy and wonderful, and it often takes its time. The journey from pain to healing isn't straightforward as we would like for it to be. It winds around, reaching into the hidden places where the hurt lingers that we think we've still got buried deep inside of us. So it may also feel like a dark space, but it's really a cocoon. It's a safe place where life can eventually emerge, just like a butterfly. And through this process, you'll find the strength to soar. So hang in here with me. We're going to dig a little deep starting tonight. So one of the toughest parts about my experience with my stepdad, which is what started all this and everything, was that it shattered the emotional safety net that I had relied on for almost 38 years. You know, he became my stepdad when I was 10, and you're going to hear about all that. So for 38 years, you know, there was an emotional safety net, and what happened, it just shattered it. It destroyed what the net was. Whenever life threw me a curveball, I would, comfortably tell myself that, or I would comfort myself with, at least I have my stepdad to help me. At least I got my dad, because I always called him dad. He's still my dad. Is now I've kind of referred to more stepdad or Jim, more so it seems now. But I will always say, at least I have my dad to help me. I have my stepdad to help me, because I do have my biological dad. But outside of my relationship with my stepdad, I always felt the need to keep all men kind of at arm's length, if you will, self-sabotaging a lot of stuff, because past relationships had left me heartbroken and I couldn't depend on a man. Obviously, all that was before Robert came into my life. My mantra was very clear: don't let your guard down. Men can hurt you. You can only trust yourself to handle your feelings. And of course, I thought I had that with my stepdad, and that mantra got reminded of when everything got messed up. So I decided to make an exception for Jim, and obviously later for Robert. And for a long time, I was really happy that I did. I would have missed out on so much. He truly did save me and my mom from the life that we were in and everything. He truly saved us, took us out of a very small town to Little Rock. But I probably leaned on my stepdad probably way more than I should have. That it at times, even early part of mine and Robert's marriage, it would cause some friction between Robert and I. But when everything changed, I started leaning completely on my husband where I was supposed to be leaning. Hey, Crack and Mary, welcome in. Good to see you. So the start of the change started in 2012, and the even bigger change was in 2021. So 9 years later, that happened. But in 2012 and 2013, I found myself feeling really uncertain about a lot of things in my life. My true feelings for forgiveness. How do I move forward? How do you move forward when everything felt like it had been shattered? Here's the man that who I thought he was. And then also I was dealing with a teenage pregnancy of my oldest daughter as well. So there was a lot on me at the time. And what steps were there to take next? I honestly feel like in 2012 and 2013, I just really just stuffed it all inside. I just stuffed it down as far as I could because it was so important to me. Because you got to remember, not only was we dad and daughter, we were also co-workers. He was my boss, and I worked with him for 18 years. 18 years I devoted my life and my business with him. So I felt like it was very, very important that I protected his image. And that was very important to me, to protect the man that he was still in my head at the time, and who he was. And what I also thought about how a father and daughter relationship was supposed to be. I didn't realize the things that he was telling me was stuff that I should have never known. But that was my goal, was of protecting him and our relationship and everything. So, oh no, Crack and Mary, y'all be praying for her. Pray for Selena. Selena's still dealing with hers and stuff. So, right, yeah. Tammy said that's very hard because her and her boyfriend, 18 years, were also co-workers for 18 years. It's very hard. But anyways, it was my goal to protect everything that I thought my stepdad was, and so forth. But in 2021, I would wish that I could confidently say in 2021 that I'm fine, even if Jim and I never can be, but I wasn't there yet. And I genuinely want it to be. I realized, though, that I still had more work to do. I needed to unpack some old beliefs, old stories that were holding me back from feeling okay. As I mentioned in our last Monday motivation a couple of weeks ago, therapy played a crucial role in my journey. But just as vital was the time I spent with my family and friends at the tables. We talked about coming to the table and everything. Week after week, it was very important for me to be with my family and my friends and sharing other stories and so forth of how they've gotten through tough times and, how they overcame toxic relationships and so forth. Oh, and y'all be praying for Lisa D as well. Everybody's getting this crud. No wonder the way this weather is. I mean, we were 70 and 80s, and now we're down to 32. So, through those discussions about forgiveness, bitterness, or relationship struggles, we uncovered many connections to our childhood. I began to realize how we created scripts based on our past experiences to help us manage life's challenges. These scripts, they often evolved into belief systems that shape our actions that my therapist helped me to uncover. Yeah, I told you about the cognitive behavior therapy. Very, very hard because you uncover so much, everything that you thought was true. You're like, oh, okay, I need to change that belief. Selena said, God puts people for a season. The time is different. Yes. Yep. So everyone that's here tonight at this Monday Motivation, those of you that are in chat, those of y'all that might just be watching, everyone that's here tonight has a story to tell. We also have the one story that we share with ourselves. And looking back at our past, it can be daunting, but it's an essential part of healing as well. To truly move forward, we must explore our stories and discover what lies beneath the surface. Forgiveness isn't just about the present, It's also about uncovering the influences from our past as well. Changing beliefs isn't easy, right, Kathy? Yes, so not easy. I still find myself stumbling. Throughout our lives, there's a common thread that connects the beliefs we formed long ago to the moments that we live in to today. So, chat participation time. First one for tonight, chat participation time. What is your initial reaction, as I've stated tonight, your initial reaction to the idea of revisiting your past? And what theme word would you use if there was just one word to define it? What theme word that you would use if you would like to share that with us? You don't have to, but what is your initial reaction to the idea of us revisiting our past, and what word would you use to define it? So see if anybody wants to participate in that one. Remember, if you do participate in the chat of the question, you get a star, and you get entered to the monthly drawing. So this is our last Monday for this month's drawing, for December's drawing. Selena says Titanic. That's a big one, right? Yes, Titanic. Lisa D says scary, hurt. Right? Selena says I'm past it, so I'm okay to share. Yes. So y'all just keep thinking about it. We're going to keep moving. So if I miss your answer or whatever, just let me know, scream it at me, whatever. Say, hey, look, I answered. So again, in case you're just coming in, the chat participation question is, what is your initial reaction to the idea of revisiting your past, and what word or theme word would you use to define it? So. Kathy, secretive, confusing. There we go. Sorry. Tammy said it's hard to go back and put yourself in a position where you are reliving something you dearly hated, and the hardest part is to forgive, but you will never forget. Yep. But it's so important that you do. Nancy, trust in Jesus. Yes. Joanne said, I don't mind revisiting it. I guess it would be grateful. Right? Yes. So even though it might be tough for some of you, let's dive in together. And I'll start by sharing my story. As I do, pay attention to the common threads in my experiences that shape the beliefs that I still carry with me today. To really get to know me and why I am the way I am, you should probably start to getting to know my mom. She has always been my rock throughout my life, and it's very hard to not have her in my life physically. And so she was definitely my best friend, one that I could laugh with, dance with, everything. But my mom started life, she was born to her mom and dad that also had her brother, who I find out later in life is really her half-brother. To her, and then she also had a sister. My mom, she was the baby. That's probably why we got along so well, because I'm the baby of my family. Robert's the baby of his family, so that's why we get along so well. But she was born into not much at all. Grew up in a city or a town called Gillette, Arkansas, and then moved to DeWitt, Arkansas. Real quick, Kathy, still don't remember a lot of my past, so I welcome the memories, even the bad ones, because good memories are forgotten as well. Going through the bad also brings up the good. Yes, I love it, Kathy. You get an extra star. Yeah, Mom grew up with her parents, her mom's parents, so be her grandparents. They were from Germany. And I'm not sure if her dad's parents, my papa, I'm not sure if his parents were still alive. I've never heard anything about them. Hey, Black Widow, welcome in. Good to see you. Um, and my mom's name was Kathy with a K as well, Kathy. So you have a really special place in my heart because of that. So my mom's mom was a very stern mom and grandmother. Not a whole lot of affection. You would be very grateful for the times when she would show you the affection. She wasn't a terrible woman by any means. She was a good, strong Southern Baptist grandmother. Those of you that have Southern Baptist whatever in your life, the ones from the olden days, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Church doors open all the time. We were there anytime I was being, ugly as a child or whatever. She would say, "You know who you're listening to? You're listening to that old devil." And now a lot of that, I really appreciate that. Oh, Black Widow, awesome. No, I love that, Kathy. My mom would always say, and that's Kathy with a K, not a C. Crack and Mary, I've learned to forgive, but I will never forget the things that happened to growing up. Yes. So Black Widow just gifted 5 Scooterrenee memberships. Thank you, Black Widow. I appreciate that so much. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. But again, my grandmother was a very stern woman. My mom's dad, he was a very hardworking man in automotives and everything. Worked a lot with his hands. But he was the jokester, and he doted on my mom. Him and my mom were very, very close. He was close to my uncle and my aunt, but my mom and him had a very special relationship. Southern Baptist, yes. Former mother-in-law, yes. Good old strong Southern Baptist woman was my grandmother. But he was the one that, was the prankster. I see exactly where my mother got it from. My aunt, my mom's sister, was more like their mom, stern, not really affectionate with her own kids at all. She treated me way better than she treated her own 3 kids. And she babysat me a lot when my mom was a single mom. So anyways, there was a lot of, I think, probably some unspoken jealousy between my cousins and me, but I was a baby, I was, little, and they were all teenagers by the time I came along. But anyways, but she was just like my grandmother, very stern and everything. My uncle, my mom's brother, I think he was probably a good mixture of both my mom's parents. But my mom, she was just like her dad, and she absolutely loved to laugh. Oh, I love that, Kathy. That's awesome. Love that. Right. And Selena says, I'm married to a Southern Baptist preacher's son. Yes. One of my favorite stories of my mom was when they got their first radio that had the shows on there. This is before TV and everything. And I used to know the name of the show. It was something and something. I know that for a fact. I want to say it was something like Marley, maybe not Marley, but it was something along those lines, something cute. But she was she was listening to it. And it was time for her to go to bed on that first night that they had the radio and everything. And she clearly told her mom and dad that she would go to bed, but she was going to get up early in the morning and she was going to finish listening to that show. She didn't quite realize at that age that the radio would be on to something else. She thought she would just be able to pick up right where it left off. One of my favorite stories of my mom on that one. My mom, she was the spunky and spice in the house that was mostly quiet. And that radio story, it captured my mom perfectly. Her enthusiasm and energy always seems to leap ahead of any caution. And Mom helped with the farming that they did, the gardening, helping in the mechanic shop and everything. She met my dad, my biological father, when she was in high school. He was 2 years older than her. He lived about 30 minutes away. He was actually supposed to go on the date with her sister, but they ended up together. But, you know, she was cute and spunky, and she was well liked. And of course, there's many other stories that I know that I can sit here and tell you, but we only have so much time. She got married right after high school, and my brother arrived very shortly after. Her and my dad, they worked in my grandfather's mechanic store. He had a Napa store at the time. I know my mom worked also at a burger place, but I can't remember because the story there was she was taking the frying oil out, and I can't remember if she was pregnant with my brother or she had just had my brother. But she had spilled it and burned her arms pretty bad with the oil. But for 8 years, she had tried to get pregnant with me, and because of her fibroid tumors, she kept getting, it was almost next to impossible for her to get pregnant with me. But eventually she did, and here I am, right? So Kathy said her grandparents on daddy's side were very strict. Yes. Moles singing convention. Is that part of the Church of God? I was born with many of y'all know, I was born with a cleft palate, which is a hole in the roof of my mouth. I don't have that nice clean arch that most of y'all have in the roof of your mouth. Mine is flat. And that's why my words are sometimes, I used to tell my daddy when I was little, I would always say, my mouth doesn't work right, you know. Is it Mert or Marge? I'm not sure. It was something. Marge sounds very familiar. And I guess, let's see, Mom was born in 46, so it would have been probably late 40s, early 50s when that happened. So, but anyways, for mine, they just pulled together the roof of my mouth and stitched it up and everything. But anyway, needless to say, there was a lot of attention poured on me until I could have surgery at 18 months of age. I had to be fed a certain way, and all the rules of what I could and couldn't do before the surgery and even after the surgery, like rules that I can still remember from the age of 6. Drinking out of a straw, using a fork, I do not take for granted, you know, those kind of things. But I remember my parents, they were fighting a lot, and this would all be before age 5. They were fighting a lot, like behind bedroom closed door, yelling. They never yelled in person that I remember. They probably did, but I don't remember. But it was scared me. And being 4, I know it had to be age 4 to 5. They would be into it, yelling, and I would run to my closet. And at the time, my closet, I don't know if it was a walk-in closet back then or not, but it was big enough to have clothes on either side and a big wooden toy box in the center. But I would run to my closet, and it was, like I said, a big closet, my little world. And I would shut the door, and I would climb up on that toy box. And the toy box had been custom made, and it had these clowns, square pattern on there. I can still see it in my mind exactly what it looked like. But it was a cushion material top on top. And I would just sit there and I would huddle up until my daddy, I always remember it was my dad that would come and get me. Seemed like he was always there to rescue me when that would happen. I don't know if all the focus on my needs is what started pulling my parents apart, or it just was what it was, you know. But at age 5, I do know that I came home that day from being somewhere. I don't know if I'd been at school, you know, at kindergarten, or Mom and I had been out and about or what. But we came home, and I came home to my dad moving all of his stuff out. And I clearly remember to this day what he was wearing. It was a green polyester suit. Those of y'all that remembers the polyester suits. It was an ugly olive green color suit. And I remember just crying and begging him not to go after I asked him where he was going. And I remember him carrying his suits and stuff out. At the time, he was a traveling salesman. Actually, he was his whole life, I should say. But So I was used to him, going. I was used to him leaving, but he would always come back. But this time, being at age 5, and though I didn't understand at that time, it was a different feeling even at that age. It wasn't just a couple of bags. It was everything that he had, all of his clothes and everything. And they said the first time I went and actually saw my dad at his new place and everything, and I met the woman that he had been having an affair with, I cried and I wanted to go home, and I just wanted what was before. And it was taken away from me, and to be shared with someone that I didn't know and was expected that this was now going to be my stepmom. And I didn't want to know her either. So, but my mom, she worked tirelessly at DeWitt Shoe Factory. Those of y'all know about the shoe factories back in the days and everything. My brother, he helped so much with me. He was 8 years older than me. So by the time my parents divorced, he was 13 and I was 5. But he was also still a kid, teenage years and everything. I can't imagine what it was like for him. And it was important to my mom that he still got to live his life as well. So that's where my aunt and everybody comes in to help kind of take care of me when my brother couldn't. So, but mom became my world, as you can imagine. As we also, my brother and I became her world for 5 years. But I was also learning about not forgiving, and holding grudges. My mom held the grudge forever with my dad, truly broke her heart. So, but anyways, my mom, she dated, she was a single mom from age 5 to 10 for me. And she dated, but I remember that I was always so quick to wanting to call the guy that she was dating dad, realizing that obviously I had some abandonment issue there, and I just wanted a daddy, all the time. I didn't see my dad a whole lot, and I've always been thankful for that. It's almost like a double-edged sword. I was thankful that I wasn't forced to go see him every other weekend. He got us when he wanted us. And so it made the time, be appreciative of that and everything. So I didn't see him a whole lot during the school year, but I did see him on my school breaks, spring break, summer break, Christmas break. He got us as much as he could. But even then, he was still a traveling salesman as well. But I remember my mom getting angry and claiming she sent me to spend time with him, not for my stepmom to have to be with me. And at the time, my stepmom owned a dairy bar, and I thought that was pretty cool because, free food and create whatever I wanted to create and everything. So, but my stepmom had owned that dairy bar, and that's how she met my father, because my father was the food salesman guy, the big cans, stuff they would sell to the restaurants and dairy bars and stuff. That's how they met, and that's how their relationship got started. But anyways, one particular other story in my life, my mom had dated a guy named Dennis, and to this day, I really do not like the name Dennis. My stepdad's middle name is Dennis, and I think to this day, I probably only know maybe 2 or 3 other Dennises in my life. But anytime I meet a Dennis, I really just want to puke at that name. But I don't know how long they have been dating and all, but all I do remember is that one day he has shown up at my mom's work with a gun, and being only 5, I would say probably 5 to 8 or so, I didn't know what was going on. I just remember my brother getting me, and we had to go get my mom from work because that had happened. And then one day, my mom and I were at home, but my brother wasn't there. He showed up to our house with a rifle. And my mom had pulled the curtains to protect me from seeing, but, curious little eyes wants to know what's going on. And I remember pulling the curtain back long enough to see him standing there with a rifle. And I remember my mom calling the cops and then also calling her parents, my papa and everything. We went to court for what I assume was for a protection of order. And I remember smiling at him across the court as I was the protector of my mom. and a lot of y'all know this about me. Some of y'all may not know this about me. But I wasn't going to let him know that I was scared that he was getting to me or anything like that, even at such a young age. And that's my thing now. You will never know that you got to me. But I wasn't going to let him know that he had scared me and that he had gotten to me or anything. And I made a promise to myself to become a better person at that point. And there was a heavy feeling in my heart that was hard to put into words, being at such a young age. And I realized that all the negativity stemmed from broken rules. It became clear to me that we needed to enforce these rules at that point. And for anything beyond my reach, I would seek out someone to help me out with that. I thought my dad would come back and he would be our protector, but he didn't. And the guy that my mom dated when we went to court, he never actually went after my mom after the whole court event and everything. But the worry that he could, even though I wasn't going to let him know that he got to me, remember that, along with my dad being gone, it made me hyper vigilant for years of looking over my shoulder and everything. And I vividly, like even now, I can tell you exactly what he looked like and everything. And I'm now 51 years old. But once again, my mom, she stepped up. She was my rock once again. She helped me piece all that together. I helped her piece what I could as a young age together from that tough time. And somehow we made life work. We found our rhythm as a family of 3. Probably the most drama after that for me was me being age 10 and being the bratty little sister to my big brother and wanting to tag along with him to everywhere he went. When I was 10, my mom, as I stated, met my stepdad and they got married. My brother, who was also my safety net as a man, was 18 and he headed off to the Navy. So he never lived with my mom and me and my stepdad. And as soon as my mom and my stepdad got married, he was my dad from day one. I called him Dad. One of his favorite stories is one day I was sitting in the living room, and this is like very, very shortly after they got married. And we were, because I know Mom and I were still in DeWitt. We were in the process of moving up here to Little Rock. And I was just sitting there in my panties watching, cartoons or whatever. And he was like, Pamela, you need to get some clothes on. I'm like, why? You're my dad now. Why do I need to put on clothes? So, I just knew that he was my dad. And so I was safe and everything again. We moved from, again, a little town of where everyone knows everyone's business. Those of y'all that have been there, you'll know what I mean. And we moved to big old Little Rock. And I was going into the 5th grade. And it was that year that I discovered that there was a divide between the girls, for sure, between the students and so forth. I remember if you said you lived in West Little Rock, you were rich, Some were labeled as popular, if you will, the popular group, because they wore the right clothes, they shared the coolest phrases, they knew more shocking words than their peers usually. And eventually I realized that I didn't quite fit in, nor was I welcome with that group. By 6th grade, I had been to the dentist at this point. They had pulled my teeth. They pulled teeth that they weren't supposed to pull because I had missing teeth. And so back then, my 2 front teeth were split like that. Now it's a popular model, to have a space between your front teeth. But by 7th grade, I had to wear a retainer to move my 2 front teeth over, and obviously I had fake teeth on those retainers, and they would stick so far out that you could tell they were fake. But that was to try to help, keep kids from making fun of me. So, hey, Mary, welcome in. Good to see you. Lisa D shared, I was 12 when cancer took my daddy. I was mad at God for the next 4 years of my life. Then some cancer took my mom 18 years later, 30. My parents weren't here to turn to for help or a hug, right? I know that had to be hard, Lisa D, and I'm so sorry for that. But at lunch one day, I had told a teacher, what had happened, that kid had made fun of me or whatever. And instead of getting on to the kids who had made fun of me, she instead told me basically to stop being so sensitive. And she scolded me for being so emotional about it. And my cheeks, they felt like they were just on fire. And I was embarrassed, obviously, by my emotions as well. I could hear the laughter of those kids who had just hurt my feelings and everything, but I couldn't bring myself to turn around and look at them. They were not going to know that they got to me. I felt a confusing mix of emotions just swirling in my chest. It was things like sorrow and anger, and also an overwhelming urge to just escape the situation. Surprise, Mary, I'm here. I get it, Mary. But anyways, panic, it just took hold of me at that point as well. But, in my mind, I was like, how could this teacher just stand by and just allow this to happen? That a wave of frustration, it just washed over me. And in that moment, I couldn't decide who I disliked more, the kids around me or myself. That's a deep one. And I can't quite pinpoint why this rejection felt so monumental for me. But I faced rejection, I faced heartache and betrayal before, my dad leaving, and he had another woman and all this. And then what I went through with, the men that my mom had dated and the situation with the guy and so forth. I'd gone through all that, but this is the point in my life that it became an impact for me. And that's what made it sting even more. It left me feeling ashamed in front of what seemed like the entire world. I felt a wave of unease wash over me, and I really wanted my mom nearby, but deep down I knew she couldn't be at school with me that day or any day because I was now in middle school. And I had looked around the courtyard because now we did not have a playground. We only had a courtyard, and I desperately was searching for a way to escape. As I realized that there was no way out, I just clenched my jaw and I held back my tears that my teacher just told me were very unacceptable. And my hands, they kind of felt like they went numb, and a wave of fear washed over me as I faced the harsh truth. I was the only one who could protect myself. And deep down, I already felt my own powerlessness. It wasn't just what had happened at lunch. It stemmed from the mouth I was born with, which led to so many unnecessary issues. My dad had left my mom and my brother and me, and then my brother had left to join the Navy and everything. The man who created chaos the day at home with my mom and never came, and my dad never came back to protect us from that and everything. And then there were these friends who were supposed to stand by me. Thank you, Selena. But I felt a strong urge to help them see just how hurtful they could be. But deep down, I didn't want them to just stay that way. I longed for them. This is where I guess probably the bad angel and the good angel develops in my life and so forth. I longed for them to show kindness and show love and compassion and everything, just as I did. I definitely believe them to treat others as you would be treated, And I wish that they could recognize me and appreciate who I was and embrace me with love and protection. I yearned for the warmth and caring I read about in the storybooks and that I saw on the family TV shows at the time and everything. I longed for something that felt achievable, but yet it always seemed like it was out of reach, just right out of reach for me. And this wasn't due to anyone else's flaws. My greatest fear was that I would never be able to escape myself. And the source of all my pain, that was in a simple fact that I was at the heart of it. The worst agony a person can face on this earth isn't just the pain itself. It's the feeling that the pain has no purpose and that things will never get better. So chat participation time. When in your own life have you felt afraid that your suffering might be endless and pointless? And only if you want to share in chat on that. Also, was it with a hard relationship where needs weren't met, or a mistake that you made, or a wrong that you suffered? So kind of a two-part question there as well. When in your own life have you felt afraid that your suffering might be pointless, endless? And then was it a hard relationship, or was it a mistake that you made, or a wrong that you suffered? You know, it's funny, as I was doing all these notes, I was thinking about, well, crap, and I've not had the hard life that some of y'all have had, or the hard, really, really, really hard things that people go through. Selena has been through so much, and I'm just amazed, so amazed at her not ever having the victim mindset. She has every right in this world to have the victim mindset, but yet she has chosen to rise up above it and be more, But again, it's like, no wonder I've had problems with men. My dad left, and then my mom had those things that happened, and my brother went to the Navy. So the first man I fell in love with, my daddy, he left. The second man I fell in love with, my brother, he left and went to the Navy, and so piecing all of this together, I'm just like, okay, that just all makes sense. Selena said when Carl tried to kill me for the last time, she never thought she would get away from it. So, right, 1,000%, Timmy, she is. That's what I've always loved about Selena. She's a very strong woman. Mary said, as I age, I feel weaker and more fearful. So understand that. I know I'm only 51, but now I've kind of crossed that halfway point. I feel like in my life where I'm like, 51 years have flown by. And let's just say I lived till mid-70s. That's only 20 more years. Only. That's not even half what I've lived so far, So, yes. But she feels, as I age, I feel weaker and more fearful. Been circling the pit potty drain lately. One of the worst was giving up that 40-year relationship, right? That is so hard. I totally get that as far as from what I've gone through with my stepdad. Right, Selena? Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Mary. I appreciate that. So y'all continue to think about that. If that's something you want to share, just let me know in chat. So after that, school never felt safe again as far as being able to show who I really was. I didn't blame the teacher from that time, of course. She was actually a wonderful person. But there were things happening that she just didn't see. Out in the school courtyard, the rules changed. It wasn't about being nice or playing fair anymore. It was a battle for survival. The kids who were mean often had the support of the popular crowd, and that allowed them to escape any consequences. They were viewed as the cool and the powerful ones, the ones that were in control. Nancy said, yes, when I got let go from the police department. Yeah, when I got let go after my stepdad was forced into retirement and losing my job because of him. I know that from that angle. Right. Exactly. Selena's going to be the one that wins. Yes. But apologies were rare back then, if y'all remember, back in the middle school years and stuff. And the only form of justice seemed to be plotting secret revenge on the bullies without getting caught. No wonder we have what we have today in the schools and everything. But in a way, we all turned into exactly what we dreaded: mean kids. If you didn't want to act that way at first, just a few days of being picked on would have changed your tune. Adapting to survive and becoming a version of those you once disliked the most. Let's see. Kathy said, I think I thought everyone was pointless until May 2001. I met a person who made me thankful I have all the issues I do. As long as God uses whatever the experience was, it's okay. Not easy, but okay. I love that, Kathy. Mary, yep, and that seemed to carry on to the present. Groups of predators congregate together. Yes. Everything. Gotcha. Thought everything was pointless. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Kathy. But it felt safer to blend in with the meanness rather than risk being vulnerable and brave. Kindness was an option for me at the time. It opened up tender areas that others could easily exploit. Throughout my middle school and high school years. But by embracing toughness and participating in the mean game, I managed to keep my vulnerabilities hidden beneath a heart that was hardening more each day. I got involved in the DECA program in high school where I missed half the school, because I had to go work the rest of the half. But that was my way of escaping. It was my way of not having to show any more vulnerability than I had to and everything. But in time, I found a way to avoid the negativity and not become a target myself. I learned to go quiet and blend into the background until I seemed invisible, keeping it all to myself, I stopped speaking, showing emotions, or forming connections. It was as if I vanished completely. My best friend since I was 12, she'll say, oh, you remember in high school such and such? I'll be like, no, I don't remember anything from high school, if I'm honest. I remember the hard things I went through on my own, but I don't remember anything from school. In middle school, my saving grace was being a teacher's helper. I was able to, stay behind and assist her with anything that she needed. And during that time, I found comfort in mentally cataloging all the unkind things that the mean kids said and did. I kept a detailed record in my mind, adding to it each day. And I hope that one day I will reveal this evidence to whoever was in charge of making things right at school. But I never did find that person, obviously. Middle school, it passed quickly, and I truly believed that high school would be an improvement, but I was completely mistaken. The person in charge was missing from that experience as well. So, Josie said, no matter what you have gone through in the past, don't waste the day on things you can't change. Very few people have had an easy life, right? Yes. Kathy said it was why I was late to Tammy's show, had to use experience to help the person in crisis who called me. Then it makes it all worth it. It's hard to explain in chat. I got you, Kathy. No more needs to be said. Hurt people, right? Yes. So it's been over 40 years since I last left the playgrounds and that courtyard at the middle school and everything. Yet every now and then I find myself wondering if a piece of those memories has truly left me. Like I said, there are things I can still recall to this day. Selena says, I'm not a smart person. I had a lot of special classes, but there was a teacher that let me be last so no one made fun of me. Yes. Then there's the faith argument, right? I share this because the lessons that we learn in childhood really do stick with us. And as I told my story, I bet some of your own memories started popping up, like old clips from a movie, if you will. Some might be as joy-filled as my memories of playing with my mom. Others could be as tough as my dad leaving us, and even tougher than that. There might even be quirky moments like my mom. I remember dancing. It was just me and her in our house, and she was dancing around and she was trying her best to kill this big old water bug that was just going all over the place. I will never forget that. She was in her robe and everything. And then there might be moments of the painful ones when friends turn their backs on me that I remember. So the events in our lives, they do more than just create a story. They reveal the story that we tell ourselves. And if we pay attention, we can find a belief system woven into our experiences, rooted in our childhood. For me, it was a way of thinking that brought together many ideas. First and foremost, I gained a solid understanding of what I should and shouldn't do. I still follow the bedtime and morning routines that my mom taught me. I steer clear of sugary cereals. I never steal, and I feel uneasy when I hear bad language. Like, I very rare have ever cussed in front of my parents and everything. I'll let one slip every now and then, but I'm pretty cautious on the bad words a lot of time. The F word really bothers me. Secondly, it shapes my view of others. I believe that some people are trustworthy, but many carry unseen struggles. Unresolved issues and hidden pain can lead people to say or do hurtful things, as in, hurt people hurt people. I try not to take their actions personally, but as someone who feels deeply is often a challenge, so I do still get hurt. Josie said, I came from a poor family, went to school with some rich kids, so I was never treated well by the teachers, right? Lisa D said, I was bullied daily, every day. Worse was we were on a field trip and some of the kids got my McDonald's one way home. Someone on the way home, someone dumped a big shake over my head, sat there on an hour bus ride from home. I sat silently and was humiliating, right? Yes. So sorry about that, Lisa Dean. Yeah, your mouth does get you in trouble sometimes, Selena. Lisa D, I feel you on that one. Unfortunately, despite my best efforts to avoid causing others pain, I sometimes do. And no matter how hard I try to improve things, not every relationship finds a way to heal. Some just don't last. And at times we may never understand why. And so we have to move on, right? Thirdly, it shapes my self perception. Fourth, it affects my views on God. And finally, it influences my thoughts on forgiveness and moving forward in healthy ways. I haven't included personal examples for the last three because I feel I've shared enough about myself tonight. And those reflections are best suited for an in-person conversation. So maybe one day, you and I, on the other side of the screen, we might bump into each other and grab us a drink of our choice, as I always like to say, and we can share what we've gone through, our journeys and so forth, and open our hearts together. But for now, I'll pass the pen on to you, so to speak. We worship a God who can transform our struggles into meaningful journeys. While the enemy may try to twist our stories against us, the scriptures remind us that we can use our experiences as powerful tools in the fight. Revelations 12:10 through 11 reads, For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been hurled down. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Right, Mary? I'm with you on that one. Mary said, even though I feel I have a solid foundation, my foot often slips, right? So let's do another chat participation time. This again is a two-part question. How might God want to take the pain in your life and turn it into hope-giving, hell-defeating purpose? I love that, hell-defeating. How might God want to take the pain in your life and turn it into hope-giving, hell-defeating purpose? And the second part of the question is, where have you already seen God do that in your life or someone else's? We don't have much more, guys. Not much more. How might God want you to take the pain in your life and turn it into a hope-giving, hell-defeating purpose? And where have you already seen God do that in your life or someone else's? Mary said, the more I try to change for the better, the more I slip and slide. I always say every time I'm making those type of changes and everything, that's when Satan starts working even harder on me. Can y'all tell I even got my hair done? I got my hair done the day I was running such high feet. Well, after I got home from getting my hair done. But Robert likes to call it white. I'm like, it's not white, it's platinum. There's a difference. Mary said, always uses my experiences to help guide others around the potholes, right? Yes, and sobriety. Selena said, if I didn't go through what I did, I wouldn't have shown compassion and been able to work with mentally handicapped adults and abused children. Joanne says, by being able to let my story be an inspiration to others, I've been able to do that at times. Love it. Kathy said, tell him yes, he can use whatever, and I see it too many times to know how often, right? Yes. Thank you, Mary. Everybody's probably like, it's still blonde, Scooter. But there's a difference. You can see some of the darker gold in it. I don't like that gold, but they're low lights. So still got some of that. Lisa D said, God fills my emptiness in my life as those pass along my way. And when I put my life in his hands, he shows me the way. Lift me up. Yes. Yes, he is, Selena. He is still helping with Amelia. That little girl's making an impact for sure as well. So thank you, Joanne. Josie said, when I totally gave my life to the Lord and stopped worrying, my life changed for the better, right? So my therapist, as I shared with y'all, she encouraged me to collect my dots, which were my thoughts, and then connect them and then correct them. And we'll focus on the connecting and correcting in the next 2 weeks. But for now, let's start at the beginning and let your memories just flow freely onto a page. If you are a journaling person, this will be a perfect exercise for you. If you're not, but you've always wanted to be, this will still be a great exercise for you. But on the page of a journal, if you decide you would like to do this, let the memories just flow freely. And what are some of the words and events that have most deeply shaped and impacted your life? Don't worry about how the words come out or if they fit into a perfect timeline. And you definitely don't need to nail every single detail. It's not about perfection here, guys. It's about expressing everything that's on your mind. Write down the beautiful and the painful memories. Go back as far as you can remember and work through your childhood, your teen years, your young adulthood, all the way up till today. And then after writing this down in a journal, if you choose to do so, give consideration to any areas in your life of unforgiveness that you need to tend to. Don't forget, this is hard work. It's meaningful and it's worthwhile. It's valuable, and you're going to be so grateful that you saw it through to the finish. This is holy work, guys. Holy. I want you to meet someone truly special, guys. Someone very special. Yourself. Yes, the amazing person that you see in the mirror every day. You are full of unique experiences, charming quirks, real emotions, inspiring strength, and funny family stories that reflect the beauty of our Heavenly Father. It is such a privilege and an honor, and I'm so blessed to know you. Hello, beautiful you. If you'll join me in bowing your heads for this prayer. I told you we didn't have much left. Don't worry about punctuation or spelling, just write. Yes, Kathy, the first thing in your head. All right, let me get to what I got down here. All right, here we go, guys. Father God, we come to you confessing that we need your help with our thinking. We want to be your people that are led by wisdom and truth. You're people that are shaped and steadied by wisdom and truth. You're people that is well equipped to process our pain through wisdom and truth. That's why we're asking you to help us as we head into this new week. Help us to see the truth about you, about ourselves, about those who have hurt us, and continue to help us to see the truth of our need to forgive and be forgiven. We love you. We need you. And while we want you to move in our circumstances, we realize the most important place we need you to move right now is in the way we think and the way that we see. In Jesus' name, amen. I'm going to go back up here real quick. Selena said, Mary, I'll pick you up and we will be crooked together. It's okay as long as we try to stay on the right path, right? Right, Selena? Come such a long ways. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, guys. Tomorrow night, I will be on at 7:30 p.m. Central for the live auction of Slightly Unhinged Sanity sold separately. And then Wednesday night, I haven't decided if I'm going live yet because that is New Year's Eve. Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central, we might do another sale, but that's New Year's Day. So I've been torn about giving myself a couple more days off because, I go, unless Robert and I go on vacation. And so generally the last 2 weeks of the year, I do typically take off completely. And that's when I get all my goals and things for next year put on my board up here. I come up with my word of the year. So don't forget to come up with your word of the year, guys, because we're going to be sharing those. If we don't go live Wednesday, or just watch for the thumbnails. If we don't go live Wednesday or Thursday, then we'll be hitting the ground running next week, and we'll be on Monday motivation, Tuesday sale, Wednesday, Thursday sale, all that good stuff. And then definitely we'll be on over at Black Widow's channel Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central. So, you're welcome, Lisa D. Next Monday motivation is going to be episode 151, and we are going to be discussing forgiveness and the topic of connecting the dots. So we have collected our dots. So that's why if you do want to participate in the journaling, that would be so great because it's all going to kind of start coming together for you as we start connecting the dots. And we'll find out what these dots even have to do with forgiveness again. But for sure, it's going to be another great topic for us to come together, continuing in this series. So, awesome. I don't know. It's either going to be on target for myself that I didn't know I needed, because I'm doing this right along with you guys. It'll be something that I didn't know that I really needed, or it's going to be something that one of y'all needed to hear. So it's funny how God will always work in that way. And as I've shared with y'all before, my prayer before every Monday motivation is always to at least help one person. So yeah, make sure y'all do all the YouTube things. You subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell for all notification, and a thumbs up on your way out if you haven't done it yet. Make it a great week. If I don't see you somewhere around the YouTube, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Some of us are ready for 2025 to be over with, and we're going swinging into 2026 for sure. Oh, awesome. Yes, Mary, we will see you. Be thinking of your word of the year that you want to share with us in the next week or two. And remember, we can't change what we have experienced, but we can choose how the experiences changes us. Now let's do this thing. Happy birthday. Happy late birthday, Lisa D. Happy birthday. All right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.